Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we got a great video for you. Doing a full-on walkthrough of my brand new 2025 iKon LX21. Last season, you guys saw me in the LX20. This year, I'm switching it up to the iKon LX21 and got a lot of questions. Why are you switching? I'm gonna be honest with you. I absolutely fell in love with the 21 and there's nothing wrong with the 20. I've been one of the people that's kind of like a creature of habit. I like to do the same thing every year. I don't like to get out of my comfort zone, and I absolutely had that 20 dialed in last year. But as a brand ambassador, for iKon, I felt like it's kind of our job to know each boat, each model inside and out. So after being in Jacob's boat, after doing a trip that you guys are going to see very soon, I'm like, you know what? I got to try the 21. So we've got this one for this season, and really there's not that many changes between the 20 to the 21, just little things, but I'm a fan. You guys come along. We're going to walk all the way around this thing. We're going to start at the back, work our way inside and out, all the way to the front of the boat and show you guys everything. I've been in this boat for about 25 hours on my engine so far. I've really got a lot of things dialed in on how I have it set up, what I like, everything about it. I'm going to show you guys right now. Let's do it. All right, we're gonna start at the back of the boat. Obviously, the first thing, we got the big Mercury 250 Pro XS. I have ran a Mercury my entire career. I've never owned a boat with anything other than a Mercury, so obviously we're gonna run it back with that. Dependability, reliability, can't ask for any much more out of them. It's a great freaking engine. So right off the rip, you're already gonna notice one addition that I did add to my Mercury this year is the leash. My wife is gonna be happy because, we've seen instances in the last couple years, guys, their motor's getting knocked off and we fish too many places with timber, stuff like that. So it's better to be safe. We got that on there, which is super cool. It's basically meant to keep your engine from getting kicked up in the boat if you were to hit something, especially in that mid-range 30 to 40 miles an hour. It's been known that engines could get kicked up into the boat, so this is going to stop that. We got the motor toter that comes straight from iKon. It's a tote right. I really like it. I got to use it for the first time last year, and it basically keeps the engine from being able to turn back and forth. So like steering stabilizers plus the toter all in one. Really, really nice. Also, before I get ahead of myself, the prop going with the Mercury Fury, I'm bouncing between a 24 and a 23 on the prop, depending on how much of a load I'm carrying and where I'm at with the altitude and stuff. A lot of times a 24, but we'll have to go to a 23 at times. Obviously going with the Bob's Machine Shop action jack plate. I've been with Bob's for, gosh, 8 or 9 years now. Wouldn't have it any other way. 8-inch Bob's Machine Shop action jack plate. Super fast, super quick, and you're able to get your engine dialed in to running top speed. The other great thing about Bob's is these things are built for like dang racing boats. Like they build stuff for racing boats. So our little old bass boats and going 65, 70 miles an hour isn't nothing for what these things are built for. And I also have 2-degree Bob's Machine Shop wedges installed, so that way it gives my motor a little bit more trim, and that's going to allow me to get more speed out of this big boat. This is the 21, so it measures almost 22 feet in length. It's a big boat, so having that little bit more trim is going to allow me to get that front end up more. Next up, we got these sick brand new power pull blades. This is the one pump, and if you haven't noticed yet, they're doing a matte finish instead of just the normal gloss black. They're doing a matte finish black. It's going to match my wrap perfectly. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta go with the matte black. But the one pump system, I'm telling you guys, first time using it the past 2 months, phenomenal. I don't know how many times I hit my buttons and I can't hear the power poles going down. I don't hear anything at all. And even with the ones like I used last year, they're quiet, but you still hear the pumps running. These things are like, you have to look back to physically see, did they go down? Especially if these are 8-foot poles. So if I'm in 5-6 foot of water, I'm like, am I going to touch? Oh, the poles think, oh yeah, they're going down. So very, very sneaky. They made huge improvements on something I didn't think you could make improvements with. first year running a light on top of my power poles. I don't know why I haven't done that before, but guys, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be able to just get up and not have to worry about putting that dang light in. So that is the Russell Marine products, no affiliation. I bought it off their website. Very, very convenient though. So moving on. So down below here, we have the Lowrance Active Imaging HD 3-in-1 transducer. And you can see I have it mounted off to the side of the jack plate. Now, when I first had it mounted, I'd mounted it in the center, dead center. I was losing speed. I didn't know why the boat wasn't going as fast. And we offset that transducer off to the side just a couple inches, gained 4 to 5 miles an hour. And it was all because this was right in front of the prop. Duh, that's on me, but didn't realize, you know, that would happen. But it is an 8-inch jack plate, so shorter jack plate. So just make sure if you're running something like this, you got an iKon, try to offset that transducer so it's not messing with your prop, the water coming off of it and everything else. The trailer itself, we got some upgraded bunks instead of carpet. This is like super classy stuff. You're able to put it up on there, and that stuff's really, really sticky too. So it's not going to tear up the bottom of your boat like ever. You would think it would be slippery. That was my biggest fear, and actually it's not. It's the opposite. It's actually super sticky. So that's a key upgrade for this year that I really, really like, and we're gonna move on up here to the back of the boat. All right, we got the back hatch here. Awesome to be able to get in the back here and work for rigging and everything else. It's so accessible, and right off the rip, we got this spare trolling motor prop dock. I think that's what it's called. I'll link the description down below. I forget the name of this. It's online, but it's basically a Lowrance Ghost prop holder. Super convenient. I think it's like 30 bucks to be able to have a spare prop. I have a spare Bob's prop nut on it as well, in case if I was to take mine off and drop it in the water. You just can't be too prepared, right? So we run into stuff all the time on the water. So I got that, and then we're going to step into basically the office in the back over here. So every season I take my boat down to Trent Palmer at Sonar Pros. He does all the rigging, does a fantastic job, and can't thank him enough for getting basically this configuration set up for me. Really makes things really simple because I'm not an electrician. He puts his wiring harness in it. He does everything, getting everything sorted. So huge, huge shout out to those guys. If you're looking to upgrade your electronics, get clearer picture, everything, he is the guy to contact. He's down right near Lake Lanier in Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. Be sure to give him a call. They do all kinds of stuff online and everything else. So be sure to reach out to him, get your boat dialed in. But right off the bat, we made a really big change going into 2025, and I have partnered with MillerTech Lithium Batteries. Super, super excited about it. Being inside the fishing industry, we all kind of know the good batteries from the bad batteries. I can honestly say I haven't heard a single bad thing about MillerTech. So that's a big deal because we gotta have dependability, reliability out on the water, and lithiums is such a fine line of a good product and a product that could leave you stranded. So confident in these batteries. The amount of time that I've spent on them, I think I spent 3 days without charging them, and that's another story. That's on me before Trent got to wire the boat. But put it this way, I done put them to the test the very first time I put them in my boat. Regardless, we got the MillerTechs, and basically I got two 12-volt lithium cranking batteries, 135 amp hours a piece, and that's the first time I've ever had a lithium cranking battery. Super excited about that. I don't have to carry a heavy AGM around. Two lithiums in parallel that's going to run all of my electronics, crank my engine, power poles, everything, right? It's going to be instant power all day long. We got the 12 volt over here, and I have the other 12 volt on the other side, in which I'll show you in a second. And then we have the MillerTech dual output marine lithium battery charger, and this thing's really convenient because it has a 12 volt battery system charger and the 36 volt. You're able to charge them both with one charger. You don't have to have two different chargers and all of that stuff. It makes it very simple and convenient, very easy to use. So once they're charged up, I can log on to my MillerTech app, which is a super bonus for having these batteries, and it's able to pull all these up because each battery has Bluetooth, which is really convenient. You're able to check it on the water. Bing, done. You know what you have, what each battery's doing. I'm talking the power, the temperature, the time, the capacity, the current, the voltage, everything is all right here on the app. So these things are built to withstand a lot of torture that we put them through. Right here, we got the Power Pole 1 pump. We actually moved that from the other side over to here. You can see how much less space this 1 pump is in the back of the boat. It's really convenient to be able to have this right here. It takes a lot of less space out of the back compartment. And then last but not least, we have the Bob's Machine Shop prop dock for my big prop. So I'll stick a spare Fury prop. I got a 23 in here right now, but that makes a world of difference to be able to have that back here and super easy to access. If something was to happen out on the water, change that prop out really, really easy. So that's everything on this side. Let's go back over to this side and check it out. So we are on the passenger side. As you can see, I've got my other MillerTech 12-volt cranking battery right here. Trent had ran leads across to this one so they can be in parallel. And then I have my two 36-volt MillerTech lithiums. These are both 60 amp hours apiece, and these are running parallel as well to run my Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. I have all the power in the world to run that trolling motor all day, and super, super convenient to be able to have them, you know, on this side. That's something that Trent worked with me with, was getting this configuration. What I've noticed with the iKon is it tends to be a little bit more driver's side heavy. So just by switching and instead of having two batteries, I've put 3 batteries on the passenger side. So that takes a little bit more weight to balance this out. And when I say a little bit of a lean, it just very subtle from the factory, right? So that's why I like to put the 3 on this side. Basically what I've learned, one of the reasons why this boat is so great at handling is the narrower pad underneath. The pad is a little bit narrower, but with that, you have the trade-off of it being easier for it to go back and forth. But just by sorting your weight and how you have the weight inside in your boat makes a world of difference. I'm no engineer by no means, but just by little tweaks and little adjustments by where you put the weight in your boat makes a world of difference on how that boat performs, especially one like this. So this is the fish rejuvenation container for your live wells. You fill it up with whatever you want, whether that's fish life or G-juice or whatever. So then that's going to automatically be pumped into your live wells. You can easily access that with a funnel, and I'll fill that all the way up. I already got some in there, and that's pretty much it on this side. All right, so we got this back compartment right behind the driver's seat. You can take it out super easy. See how clean the inside everything is. iKon does a phenomenal job having a finished inside. There's nothing that's like, you're not getting any fiberglass in your hands. In this compartment here, I like to keep like my toolbox and stuff. This compartment comes out. Everything under here is all for the live well, or basically for the chiller plate. I mean, it takes up a lot of space, but obviously the benefits of having the chiller plate. So you get a little bit of a smaller box. Guys, I'll show you this. This is just to get you a Plano waterproof box. Get you all the tools that you need. You need your prop wrench. You need a 19 millimeter, 17 mil. Just telling you. All right, next up is obviously the live wells, and this is something that iKon's super proud of. Honestly, I can say after a year of using them, full tournament use, these things are absolutely phenomenal. I actually need to clean them out. I've been fishing quite a bit. They're a little bit dirty, but first thing you're gonna notice is this seal across the top here. So that water, you're gonna be able to basically fill all the way to the surface, so there's no sloshing. You're not gonna have that gap where they're hitting their heads and stuff. Obviously, it's got the chiller plate in it, so I'm able to maintain the water temperature when I'm in those really hot events. I use that, gosh, in the middle of the summer, Wheeler Lake and at Smith Lake, super hot in the middle of Alabama. I think it was in July. Water temp was mid 80s. That chiller plate makes a difference. Not only that, you got the blue live well coloring, so that actually is supposed to keep the fish calmer. It's like a fish jacuzzi, and it's got the fish rejuvenation. This is the little squirt tab or whatever you want to call it. It's basically going to pump that fish rejuvenation in there. And then on that divider screen, you can take that in and out. So if you want it to be all one live well, you can have it that way. But I always like to have two separate. It's still all one, but with that divider, I want it to be separate. So I got big fish on one side, small fish on the other. But what I I do is I take and put a screw through that divider plate, so it basically locks that divider plate in place so it's not gonna rattle and loosen up and eventually come out, because they will loosen up and you gotta basically retighten them, but just put a little Phillips screw in there, done. It's gonna be locked in there for the rest of the season. So these live wells, the L2 live well system, I can't say enough about it. Another cool thing I did was I mounted this push pole. This is the super stick. Basically just put the mounts that come with it right here behind the seat. Hang on. It does sit right there, makes it a little bit inconvenient. You know, like you can't rest your knee as well, but the benefit of having the push pole there over not having it, I'll definitely take it here. It's easy to access, never gonna bounce out driving down the road, stuff like that. So, and then I basically stuff all of my ropes just right in here behind the driver's seat. They never fly out or anything, but that way when I pull up to a dock, I can quickly grab them. Don't even have to get up. I just grab the rope out and I can tie up to the dock with my life jacket still on. So, all right, next up we got the cockpit area. Obviously the seats. If you haven't sat in one of these yet, if you're at a boat dealer or at an expo or something, please just sit in these seats. The cool touch, basically they don't get hot in the summer, you know, blazing hot. They're not gonna burn your leg when you got shorts on, which is really, really nice. And they don't break down, like they don't continuously get softer throughout the year, which is nice. I haven't had any back issues all last season. No sore back, nothing. And we went through quite a few different fisheries, you know, fishing the St. Lawrence River at the end of the year, no back issues. So a lot of thanks to these things. Got this here. Basically, I'll throw all of my daily stuff, your day box, whether that be a flashlight, a headlamp, gloves, you name it. But I did add, and this is all me, don't make fun of me, but I added, basically, I bought some cheap C-Deck stuff off of Amazon, and I put it in here myself. So basically, this is all gel coat in here. You know, if you wanted to throw your glasses loosely, now I have that where it's super padded all around it. So I like to tweak things. So I'm gonna show you guys all that stuff that I tweak though. So, and here's another one. Right here, you gotta have your towels. When you catch one and you rinse your hands, boom, your towel's right there. Or you get like too much Mac scent on your hands, towel right there. Easy to do, just clip onto the seat. So jumping down inside the driver's seat, Trent basically suggested to put my 0.1 antenna right here, which is really, really convenient because we didn't have to drill holes in the top of the boat or anything like that. I put in a little, this is like a little baggie here you can get online. Basically, all that is I can put my trash when I'm running down the lake and I'm eating a granola bar, I can put the trash right there. So that's another little tweak that I do. I did put a little bit more of that C-Deck right here because I like to put my water bottle down here. But this is all set up for me to be really, really efficient. So I got the dash set up here. I've got my power pole switch there. I've got a power pole switch there. I have my Scosche magnet mount for my phone that I can put there. So I can set that there like that while I'm running down the lake. I really like to have those. Got my 2 trim switches for my jack plate and the engine, obviously. Got the whole control panel here, which is super convenient. And this is the first time that I've ever had speakers in my boat. That comes with the 21. I love having it because I never thought I would like to have speakers in my boat, but these things can bump. And then too, it has an option where it can only play out of this speaker, so it's not vibrating the boat as much. So if you see me out there just cruising around listening to tunes, that's gonna be me for a little bit, or at least in practice, right? The other nice thing is this comes with a phone charger. You want to put it right here. So iKon's got the phone charger. It's got this little cubby hole back in there, and then obviously the ignition key. That is my whole little setup that I have right here. We jump down to my Lowrance electronics, and obviously you can see that one is bigger than the other. So I've got a Lowrance HDS 16 Pro, and then I have a Lowrance HDS 12 Pro. So why do I have the 16 and a 12? I really, really like side imaging with the 16. I learned that last year. It just looks so much clearer than what it does on the 12. Now, can I do the same thing? Absolutely, I can do the same thing with 2 12s, but why not take advantage of it? I love these Lowrance units, super quick. They're really, really efficient. And two, if I want to do dual mapping, I can split it and have 2 mapping, basically map cards up here, and it'll have them split, which is really convenient at certain bodies of water. Then we have the BoatLogix dual graph mount. I've been with BoatLogix since I've been in the Elite Series, so 2018. One thing about their product, they are built to last. So these things are super sturdy. You can see how it's double plated down here. It's going to basically withstand all of that, and it doesn't carry the vibrations like other graph mounts do, so you don't get, you're going like this all the time down the lake. They're rock solid, and it's going to keep your graphs protected. Obviously, got the DuraSafe E-Lock as well. Got to keep your stuff protected. I have them up front, but these DuraSafe E-Locks, very, very convenient to be able to have one key and basically lock all of my stuff up on my boat. That way, when I go in and eat at Cracker Barrel, I don't have to worry about my graphs getting stolen. All right, so next we got the cooler area, and dude, after this past season, I really thought the cooler was overkill when I first got into my first iKon, but dude, it is not. It comes in clutch. It's able to hold a ton of food, a lot of ice. It's one of my top features of the boat that separates it from other boats. And I got it full of snacks. I did put some more of that SeaDek material in there as well, because sometimes I'll throw like a Yeti bottle and I don't want it bouncing around. I got that stuff in there, a little bit of padding. We got the tool holders, which is perfect. It keeps everything really organized. Got your measuring board. I hope I never have to use that this season, but I probably will at every event. No. And then this little bait tray here that gets absolutely cluttered, but it's very nice to have when you're out on the water changing baits, and those baits can basically dry off right here. And then I also have another power pole switch right here that I mounted. So basically you catch a fish or something and you get them into the boat and you're holding them, you can boom, hit the power pole down and you're gonna be set right there instead of having to go around. I got the switch there, so that's nice. And I also put another phone mount right here. When I'm sitting here doing tackle all day long and my wife's mad at me because she's filming me right now, my phone can be right here and I can get messages or whatever, and I don't go, oh, where'd I put my phone? I put it back here, I put it over there. It's always right there. So that's a little key move. Then obviously I got my GoPro mount for the front. Then we have the console that comes out. That's super nice to be able to get in here, have this basically cubby apartment, and I just keep important paperwork in there. I keep a spare trolling motor cable always. So this is for a Ghost. Doesn't matter what brand you have, there's always those days where it could come apart. So better have you a spare. Then in here, we got basically another day box. You can put tackle. I got it all cleaned out for you guys. And underneath of it, you got your fire extinguisher down inside of there. So just managing space, so much room on this boat. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because if you're like me and you like a lot of tackle, you can overfill it. Just be leery of that. Don't overfill the boat. All right, let's take a look inside of here. One of my favorite parts of this boat is the tackle compartment. So coffin style lid. I added some bait trays up here. You can stick the treble hooks in, and another one there. This is the first year that I'm running this tackle slider storage system. I don't know why I didn't have it last year, but it's the deal. I've never been this organized to be able to have something like this, and all you do, pull that switch. This slides all the way up, and you've got all the space down here to put 1, 2, 3, 22 Plano boxes down there, 22. Then you can slide this back. You've got all these places for dye, tools, all your soft plastics that you're using that day. Whatever you want to do, you can reconfigure it, and then you just lock it back. It ain't going nowhere. Super organized, you know? Then up front, I basically put my throw cushion, my life jackets, and all of my rain gear. They all go up front. If you needed to hide out from a storm, you could climb up there as well. More than enough space, one of my favorite parts. All right, now we're gonna step over to the rod storage side, passenger side rod storage, all finished. Really sick to be able to have, you know, no fiberglass, everything's done. You know, a big difference from the 20 to the 21 is how many more rods I can fit. It's not a bunch, but just having, you know, 4 more combos in there does make a difference. So definitely a little bit more room there. And then I put another one of those basically Velcro tackle bags up here, and I put all my little treble hook bait covers. I throw them all in there so they're all in one place, organized. Definitely love that. This side, I basically put all of my spinning rods. So passenger side, I put all of my bait casting combos. This side, I put all of my spinning combos. And you'd think, you know, like, why don't you just put them both? Well, you can fit more bait cast combos if you don't have spinning rods in there, you know, messing up how it's organized. So now that I have all that space in this locker to put my rain gear and stuff, I really don't have anything else but to put rods in here. Again, this side's super finished. I've got my Lowrance Active Target 2 box mounted right here, so it's out of the way from my reels. And then I added this little piece of C-deck material because that's where my spinning reels are going to be laying up against right there. So it makes it nice to have that there. But spinning reel side, hopefully I don't have too many this year, but hey, gotta have spinning rods. Everybody's shaking a minnow. Then you got your light in here as well. I couldn't be more organized in a bass boat. I don't think I've ever been more organized. So really, really key for me. All right, so we're up here at the front of the boat. Wanted to give you guys a good, you know, visual on how I have this stuff set up. I've got my 2 power pole stomp switches here. I just like having them on one side, easy for me. And one key thing, you can go in and change on your app on whether you want a double tap or a single tap to make your power poles go down. Go into your app, change it to 1 tap. Thank me later. It's so much easier when you just do 1 tap, boom, they go all the way down. This side, you got your key switches, basically trim your motor up and down. You got your livewell lights, and then you also can control your speakers right here with this switch as well, which is nice to be able to turn them on and off. Then we have the 47-inch Ghost trolling motor. One thing that I like to do is put a little bit of grip tape on this knob because it is kind of slippery. That makes a world of difference being able to grab it with your shoes, get that traction. But I can't say enough good things about the Ghost. We put them through hell all season long, and these things, you don't have no issues with them. They're built to last. So very, very good trolling motor. And then last but not least, we got Bob's Machine Shop prop nut. Basically be able to take this thing off really easily, even if you're out on the water. No tools required, which makes it nice and does make it quieter, so that helps. Then I got my 2 Lowrance HDS 12 Pro units up here. One is strictly for my Lowrance Active Target 2, and then the others for like mapping or, you know, side imaging, however you want it configured. Got my DuraSafe E-locks on both, keep them locked up, keep them protected. Boat Logic's dual mount right here as well. Super, super sturdy, and he made a base plate for it, so I'm able to basically take this on and off if I needed to get in and check something. It's very accessible, which is good for us because if you ever had an issue, you can really get to it fast. So on the Ghost trolling motor, I've got my Lowrance Active Target 2 transducer, and this year fishing on the Bassmaster Elite Series, we can only have 1. Last year I had 2 mounted to it, only having 1, no big deal. New this year, the Boat Logic switchblade mount for all forward-facing transducers they make specifically for each brand. What makes this thing so unique? The small micro adjustments that it has compared to all other brands. All other brands are, I don't know the actual degree amount, but these are very micro adjustments, which is critical, especially when you're in scout mode. So right off the rip, I have mine in forward mode, vertical, all pretty much 99% of the time. But if I want to switch it to scout mode, all you got to do is pull it out, okay? And then move this over. Now my transducer's in scout mode. If I want to move that up and down, basically changing with the bottom contour, you can just basically lift that and it's going to adjust down. But you can see the increments are so small, which is really important when you're using Scout because it needs, the deeper you go, the more down it needs to go. And the shallower you are, it has to be parallel with the bottom to get a good clean image. It's one of the best mounts for that I've ever seen. So like I said, I've fished with this boat for 25 hours. I absolutely love it. It doesn't come loose. It's easy to change on the fly. So be sure to check that out because I know it's going to gain some traction here real soon, just kicking off through the year. They just released it late this fall, so be sure to check them out. And then this year I also upgraded the whole trailer actually, but got the steps with the handle. Didn't think I would really like it that much, but man, I guess I'm just getting older because I like the convenience of things. Again, I put basically the grip tape. I think it's Gorilla grip tape. You can get it online, but I put that on there because this can be slippery. And I also upgraded the trailer wheels. So I got the whole upgraded package, you know, the bigger wheels and everything. From this boat to last year's boat. The biggest difference is right there on the front. It's going to be right here. That 1 foot is basically set right here between the 20 and the 21. So that's the biggest thing that I noticed, you know, especially just sitting in the shop. And then straight from the factory, this thing already comes with a keel guard on it, which is nice. You don't have to worry about it doing it yourself. Really, really convenient to be able to park this thing, especially, you know, if there's no dock or anything like that. So that makes it nice. All right, so now that you guys have seen everything, let's go get this thing out on the water, how it runs, how it fishes. Well, we're not going to do it right this second because it's like 9 o'clock at night and there's snow on the ground, but for you guys, it's going to be like right now. All right, guys, we made it out on the water. We finally got some good weather to be out here, but we're gonna take this thing and see how fast we can get it going. Just kind of give you the breakdown on my jack plate settings, my trim. We got about 40 gallons in it. I'm just gonna set the camera down, basically run everything off of my GoPro on the chesty here so you can see the dash. See how fast it goes, basically from the whole shot to the top end speed. So we got a pretty good day, very, very light wind, so it should be a pretty good test. Let's get this thing up on pad and see what she does. As you can see right off the rip, we have the jack plate right on 2. It's gonna be right around the top end of 1 or at the bottom of 2 is what I find to work best. Obviously start with it trimmed down, fire this bad boy up, and we'll see what we can get it up to. Love this dash panel too, being able to touch, see everything. You can go through your live wells. You can go back to this, which is going to tell you your voltage, how much fuel you got, and your temperature, RPMs, all of that, how many hours you have. It's convenient to see all that, and yeah, super cool. Another set screen with all the different specs on it as well. All right, let's rip. All right, guys, there you have it. We had it close to about 67. That's fully loaded and probably could get some weight out of here just because of how much tackle I have, but I got some fishing to do. So like I said before, if you've never been in an iKon, be sure to go test drive one. Go to your local dealer. Heck, if you see me, you know, I gave some people some rides last year in my LX20. So the LX21, by far the best handling boat I've ever seen. And when you add some chop to the water, all that speed doesn't matter. It makes a difference on how well the boat can cut through it. So anyhow, I've got some fish to catch. I appreciate you guys watching the whole video. Be sure to like and subscribe. We will see you on the next one.